What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Jim and Boone's Trucking Journey. This is episode 98, and well, I feel it is a special episode, especially for you newer rookie drivers or people looking to get into the industry. One thing that is a necessary tool, I mean, you can go the whole Atlas route, but in my recommendation, you got to go GPS and have a navigation system. Now, your first instinct is like, well, I got it on my cell phone and Google Maps and all that. No, guys, you will eventually run into problems because of low bridges, no truck routes, that sort of thing. The speed isn't the same, so your arriving time will not be accurate on those. And there are some far superior features on what I'm getting ready to show you. But before we get into, Rand McNally and truck drivers GPS, for you US Express drivers on our driver tech, which looks like this. Now, many other companies have what's called a Qualcomm. I'm not familiar with a Qualcomm, but I think they're pretty similar in features, which as far as your GPS route, and in most cases, it's sent from the company on an order that you're on. But say, for instance, you need to go pick up an empty at a drop yard, and they can't figure out how to route you until you have an empty trailer on you. Or if you need to get to a terminal, here's a little trick you may not know. Here, where it says Order Viewer, if you press that, this little icon right here that looks like what is that, a greater than symbol, if you press that and hit before, it pulls up a list of every terminal and every drop yard that US Express has. Say we want to go to Tunnel Hill, Georgia. You just press that and it'll pull up the address and the phone number. But if you press next here and then save, it will pop that into your GPS routing and start giving you the directions there. Pretty cool, huh? And if you like to use a Rand McNally or something else, it has the address right there, so you can plug it into that as well. Another feature you want to know about is the driver services right here, especially for your students. If you press that, you can do your pro treads on your trainer's truck. Do them. Do not wait till you get back to the terminal to upgrade to have to do all your pro treads. And there's also US Express training. We usually have, 6 or 7 training modules. There's even a video on how the regen works. But there's a lot of other training videos on there too. Can't do it while you're going down the road, but if you're sitting doing a reset, check it out sometime. Last thing on the driver tech, if you go to your US, right here, this shows all your clocks. But when it comes to our clocks, there's no subject I get more questions on than the split reset. Like on mine right now, it has NA, not applicable. Okay, I'm going to take a stab at explaining this, but just start being aware and, before your 10 hours is up, start, taking a look at your clock. But in a nutshell, how the split reset works is you can start driving again after 8 hours instead of after 10 hours. Providing you didn't milk your clock down to 0. After 8 hours, what you will do is get back the time you didn't use on your previous shift out of your 11 hours. And if you're running on recaps, if there's a midnight in between during that 8 hours, you will also get back your recap hours. And then after you use whatever that time is, and it doesn't total, say, a full shift, you have to be in sleeper or off duty for 2 hours to get the time that you would have got back if you stayed in for a full 10-hour reset. Now, I bet the people who aren't professional truck drivers have already stopped this video by now saying, what the hell is Jim talking about? But it's a split reset. It's in your clock right here. As your 10-hour reset is coming to an end and you're starting the shift, just start being aware of that. Instead of your HOS being red, you will notice it turns green prior to the 10 hours expiring. That's the split reset, people. Now, a few episodes back, I'd mentioned to you guys that I was going to update my Rand McNally. And I did. Now, I had tried to do it previously at a terminal, but you need to be prepared and actually have some time on your hands to update one of these things. First thing you're going to need is a memory card to stick inside of it. It's one of the little small memory cards, and you need a minimum of an 8 gigabyte memory card. Then you need, similar to like your charging cord, but that has a USB in that you can plug into a laptop. Can't use an iPad, or been updated a long time ago. You need an internet connection and Wi-Fi. As far as mine anyway, I hear these new tablets you can update over Wi-Fi, but as far as your, older versions of the GPSs, it's got to be connected to the internet with a wire in the back of, or the side of a laptop with the GPS plugged in. First thing you'll do, you just go to randmcnally.com. I think it's dock station, or I don't know, something about a dock, and then you'll install the software update, which will change several things on it. Like mine is a little more colorful now, and you notice my icon is a red truck hauling a white trailer. There's quite a bit of customization you can do in that. You can have your icon as a space shuttle, a red race car, a snail, a horse, a helicopter, a tank, all kind of different things. You can change the color of the truck. Pretty cool. Another thing I really like about these trucker GPSs is this is the current speed limit. So I guess I can do 55 miles an hour in the parking lot here at Shippensburg, but I'm currently going 0. I'm sitting still. But you can go into your settings and set up speed warnings, which mine, for instance, if I go 3 miles an hour over the speed limit, it gives me an alert that says speed warning, and it actually turns red to prevent me from unknowingly breaking the speed limit and getting a ticket. Or what can even be worse than getting a ticket, guys, is getting a warning. But that's a story for another day. But by updating the maps ever so often, what that's going to do is, well, number one, as far as like new highways. In Kinston, North Carolina, they cut a new stretch, and I was always going off through like a field. But now it's right. And this happens in a lot of places all over the country because of all the road construction that's going on, which also updates when you do it. Now, as I'm starting to approach a construction area, my GPS lets me know it's coming up. And if the speed changes during those construction area, my GPS adjusts. Now, on the driver tech, I'm trying to load, this calls it itinerary, but it's the route. Guys, that is way too long for me to... CB, let me turn that off. Rand McNally, however, I just hit this, and boom, there it is. It actually tells me the routes, how long I'm going to be on each highway, when each turn is, as construction's approaching, that I can look at in advance prior to starting my shift, which is very helpful information. There's 2 ways to do this. The way I like is hitting here at the bottom and then going to choose destination, point of interest, and you can either do it to your current location on the truck, but what I do more often is on my route, and I can pull up truck stops, parking areas, quick stops, for instance, is your major truck stops, but also Walmart. All right, so if we hit Walmart, and in a very timely manner, it starts pulling up all the Walmarts along my route. Parking areas and rest stops are the same way. Now, one thing to keep in mind, like this first one, it says is 23 miles away. Now, the miles away that you see aren't the actual miles. It's going to be a little further. These miles are what I call as the crow flies. It doesn't take into account all the turns and twists that the road you may be on makes. So it's going to be, a little further, but it's close. And this is a very helpful tool. And, if you're trying to stretch out, your brakes and your stops and things like that. But truck stops, way stations, it'll do that same thing for all of that. And as far as way stations go, you can set it up to give you alerts. I've got mine set for 3 miles. It gives me a heads up that there's a way station coming up along my route. It finally did pull it up, but it's basically the same thing. The driver tech will sometimes pull this information up, but it takes it a while. Old Rand McNally is pretty quick. Now, last tip that I'm going to give you on using your GPS. Say, for instance, you're up in Mahoopany, Pennsylvania, and you discovered as you were trying to get to Mahoopany that address of Route 87 or whatever it is, you couldn't get it to go in the GPS. Or if you put it in there the wrong way, you ended up 30 miles from the actual facility. For some reason, it's one of those places you can't put it in GPS. You have to follow the driver tech. Well, I don't like following the driver tech. I like having my backup Rand McNally. Here's what you do in that type of situation. The first time, you've got to make it there. But once you're there the first time, if you hit this little gear right here, down here in the corner, you can save current location. Use default name, no. And now you can type in and name it whatever you would like Mahoopany, Pennsylvania, home, whatever the case may be, and you can save it in your address book. So next time you're going to there, boom, you just go to your address book, and it gives you the step-by-step directions. But I hope some of those tips helped you guys out. Don't be a rookie using a cell phone. Get you a trucker GPS. Now, they don't give those away for free at orientation. Like the new 8-inch tablet, it's like $500. The 7-inch like this, it's like $350. And then there's a 5-inch, which is just too small if you ask me. I think it's around $250 if you buy them brand new at a truck stop. Now, what I did is I went to Amazon and I found a refurbished one. And there's always people getting out of the trucking industry. So, eBay, you can find used ones as well. I paid $140 for mine. I didn't get a pretty box. I didn't get an instruction book. But I got this GPS, and I got all the cords and things that I needed, and saved a couple of $100 by doing that. When you do that, though, there's going to be part of it there's a strong chance it's out of date, but as long as you got 2 or 3 hours with an internet connection and a computer or a laptop, you can update everything where it's the newest version of software and all the maps, construction stuff is up to date. Seemed like the way to go for me, but you guys do whatever you think's best for you. In closing, I know many of you that's watching this video and have watched other videos of mine, because this is episode 98, want to put me down as a referral source. And I appreciate that. I appreciate all your help in helping me break the U.S. Express record for driver referrals ever in the history of U.S. Express. I think I need like 8 more this year to make that happen. Well, I've been told numerous times by new drivers that they tried to just do that at orientation, which was the advice I gave in previous videos about putting it on the application. And what they're telling people, oh, it's too late. You needed to do that prior to arriving at orientation. Well, can't really go back time and fix it now, but in the description tab of this video and all of my videos going forward, I'm going to have a link that will take you directly to do an online application for U.S. Express. And it's even better, guys. This one will go to the top #1 coolest recruiter at U.S. Express, my man Jeremy Schiff, which he'll be able to review your information, get in touch with you, discuss opportunities with U.S. Express, pay, answer all your questions, dedicated routes. He has all of that information, and we'll get in touch with you and can get you set up for orientation. But if you have any other questions for me on GPS or anything else that I didn't cover, you can hit me up in the comments or email me. But the email is my name and my birthday. So if you want to send me a birthday card or a gift card or an Apple product, that's fine. There it is at Gmail. But I hope a few of you learned something, maybe got a tip that you weren't aware of yet that helps you out on the road. But everyone, thanks a lot for watching. Please feel free to share the video with a friend. And as always, be safe out there and keep on trucking.